What's up, guys? I want to thank you so much for checking out my YouTube channel. We are going to start doing contests every single month with lucky winners and giving away Young Ambition clothing along with some other really cool prizes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button below. You have to be subscribed to be eligible to win. And I'm excited to continue giving you game-changing, relevant, tactical content that inspires you, challenges you to think different, and really helps you live a life on your terms. So subscribe below and we'll see you guys soon. If we were hanging out in 6 months, what would have had to happen exactly in your business for you to be fully satisfied and excited about your results? And then when you figure out what's your ideal outcome, most people are too vague. They're like, I want to be more successful. I challenge you to realize you got to get super detailed, monomaniacal, like really small details. How much money are you making? How big is your team? How much are you working? What is your ideal schedule? What time are you waking up in the morning? Right? Monthly residual. All these things have to be pinpointed. And the big kicker here is when you set your 6-month goal, you have to do everything you can to base it off of what's possible and off of your potential, not off of your past. Almost everyone I know bases their future off of their past or off of insecurities. And you can't, everyone has insecurities, right? That's normal. But if you're basing your goals off insecurities, you're always going to live below your potential. I'm going to dive into tactics and some things that you can do. I'm just going to share. I wanted to simplify, but I wanted to preface kind of how I got to where I am. But I'm just going to give 3 simple action steps and breakthroughs that if you can do these, you will have the best 6 months you've ever had in your life. It's just a guarantee. But we're in a now or never moment, and it's adapt or die. Every single conversation I have with those multimillionaires and the people that I talk to that were thriving, that are having record-breaking months, every single one of them pivoted, because the plans that we had as entrepreneurs and as dads and moms and sisters and brothers and leaders and family, the plans we had 6 months ago are now irrelevant. And it's strange, but there's a huge shift happening. It shifted from kind of a certificate-based economy to a value-based economy. It used to be like, oh, you went to 8 years of school? Oh my gosh. Now it's like, you went to 8 years of school? Damn. You could have used that 8 years figuring out your business, right? But I know people that are successful in school. But the reality is it's not a certificate-based economy anymore. Okay, there's companies, there's specific sections of Google, and there's specific sections of Apple, and some specific sections of IT companies and virtual reality companies, where the first 2 years, they untrain you of everything you learned in school. Talk about a slap in the face. So the first 2 years, like, all right, we're going to untrain you so you don't take anything you learned from college or high school with you because it's all wrong. We're going to untrain you and train you the right way, which is crazy. But that's just the times we live in. And what worked 5 or 10 years ago doesn't work anymore. That's the time we're in, right? And realize it's not your fault. If you're in a place right now where you're not where you want to be, if you feel like your intelligence doesn't match your bank account, it's not your fault. We definitely have been misled and lied to, and I've taken it upon myself to be relentless in study and to be obsessed with what's working now. And my goal is to give you exact clarity on how to create the best 6 months, but I've realized more than 6 months, it's the next 60 days. If you can maximize the next 60 days, the next 4 months after that will take care of themselves, right? So I want to simplify the process for you. And I want to remind you too, I might talk about a couple things that you've heard before, but I think the most dangerous words right now someone could say is, I already know that. The question is not if you know it, it's have you mastered that? Does your business prove you know these things? Does your bank account prove you know these things? Does your waistline prove you know these things about health? If someone talks about health, you're like, I know that. Does your waistline prove it? Right? So you have to realize if it's not something that you've been executing, you got to put it at the forefront of your mind so you can start taking action, right? So number 1, how to gain absolute clarity. The first step is the foundation, and you can't move on without this, right? So how to gain crystal clear clarity. There's too much noise in your head right now. I can predict this. There's too much noise in your head. Most things don't matter. Focus is one of the most important keys to success, and what you're focusing on determines everything about your reality. Okay, so the foundation is important here, thinking about what has held you back in the past. Where does fear creep in and why? and having a compelling reason to thrive in the future. So for me, complexity is the enemy of execution. And without execution, nothing ever moves. So working with the end in mind always has really made a big impact on me the last couple of years. I don't start anything unless two things happen, just two. One, I'm completely sold on it. Some of you guys aren't fully sold on your opportunity you have. Some of you aren't fully sold on making money online. If you're not sold on making money online or making money from your laptop now, I don't know what's going to sell you. Right? I mean, I don't know what's going to sell you, because there's going to be millions to try to go online and make money in the next year or two, and you can be ahead of the curve, right? But I have to be sold on it, and I have to have a clearly defined end result that I'm excited about. Once I'm fully sold on it and I have an end result I'm excited about, then how to get there is easy. Okay, so the first thing is your ideal outcome. Now here's the key. When I clearly define my end result, I don't base it off of my previous experience, and I don't base it off insecurities like a lot of people do. When you have your 6-month vision, so here's an example. If me and you were hanging out in, let's say, 6 months, what would have had to happen for you to be completely satisfied and excited about your results in 6 months? What would have had to happen exactly in your business for you to be fully satisfied and excited about your results? And then when you figure out what's your ideal outcome, most people are too vague. They're like, I want to be more successful. I challenge you to realize you got to get super detailed, monomaniacal, like really small details. How much money are you making? How big is your team? How much are you working? What is your ideal schedule? What time are you waking up in the morning? Right? Monthly residual. All these things have to be pinpointed. And the big kicker here is when you set your 6-month goal, you have to do everything you can to base it off of what's possible and off of your potential, not off of your past. Almost everyone I know bases their future off of their past or off of insecurities, and you can't. Everyone has insecurities, right? That's normal. But if you're basing your goals off insecurities, you're always going to live below your potential. So ideal outcome, that's the first step. Now, get rid of all limitations here, okay? What do you want by January 1st, 2021? Will there be people thriving? There'll be people on this call that probably make 50 to 100K per month by January 1st. It's 100% fact. It's just a fact. Justin's obviously one of them, but just realize it's going to happen. So you have to figure out, is that something you want? And the next step is create your compelling reasons. This is simple and people talk about this, but I just don't know how to put it in any more blunt terms. Reasons come first, results come second. So the stronger your reasons, the stronger your resourcefulness to get those done, right? I have 3 or 4 things. This is called emotional juice, right? You have to have certain things that emotionally compel you to be your own boss, to start your own business, to continue through tough times. Because realize, right when you set a goal that's above average, you are going to get tested, because if not, it's for everybody and it would be easy. The second you set a goal that's meaningful, you'll be tested. It's just 100% fact, because you're instantly representing the strength, courage, and vision most people don't have. So the reality here is you have to have reasons to pull you through the challenges. And for me in entrepreneurship, my first couple of years were very, very, very hard, challenging, lonely. I felt like I let my family down because I told my whole family I'm not working for somebody else and I'm not getting a 9-to-5. And when the recession hit, when my business wasn't doing well, the first thought was I got to get a 9-to-5. And then I caught myself because I had these 3 convictions. I remember doing hard labor with my family, with my dad and my friends. And I remember I was selling stuff on eBay, and I checked my shoes on eBay, and I had made short version. I made $91, and my friend worked 8 hours that day shoveling sand. He was sweating and he made 63. That was my first taste. Like, I know it's possible that I can make money with my brain, not just with hard labor. And the second thing is I worked at a job valeting cars at a casino, and there was a guy that was there 6 months, 7 months before me. He had been there longer, but he did bare minimum. Bare minimum. Now I'm a little confused. I'm 17 years old. I'm like, how is this guy getting paid more than me? He makes $1 more an hour than me, and he does bare minimum. How is that? It didn't even feel right. I'm like, I get that he's older, but how is that relevant when I'm adding more value to the company? And I remember adding up my paycheck, like, okay, 605 times 40 hours a week times 4 weeks times 3 months. I'm like, no matter what I do, no matter how much value I give, I could read 1,000 books. I could help 1,000 customers. I could show up 5 hours early, leave 5 hours late. My paycheck is the exact same. And someone else is telling me what I'm worth. And I have to be like, hey, ma'am, can I go to the restroom? I was like, something does not feel right. But because of my small town thinking and everyone around me that's saying, you have to get a normal job. That's just part of life. So I have this conflicted feeling like, how is this part of life if I'm feeling this frustrated? So that thought came with me when I was challenged in entrepreneurship. Those thoughts came with me. Another thought was something happened with my family that where one of our family members couldn't make something very important to my mom. And she gave her 9 months in advance, wrote her a handwritten note, still couldn't make it. And I found out later why she couldn't make it. You guys can guess, no money, boss wouldn't let her leave, couldn't get time off. So once again, I'm like, this is someone that's 45 or 50 years old and they can't get time off and don't have money. And in my head, I'm like, I just don't want to be that age and not have freedom. Nothing wrong. She's a great person. We're not talking about good, bad people. We're talking about real freedom. So these convictions kept playing in my head when I was challenged. So you have to have 4 or 5 strong reasons of why you want to do what you do. Now, if you have kids, it's probably pretty simple if you just look your kid in the eye that you have motivation. I can't imagine a bigger motivation than that, having a son now. So that's a pretty big motivation, right? That way you almost won't let yourself struggle. But sometimes a bunch of motivation and ambition without a roadmap will leave you more discouraged. That's why I'm here to give you a roadmap. So you have to have clarity. You have to have reasons. If you're not waking up early morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, fired up and excited, you don't have strong enough reasons. Next, now you figure out, okay, what are the top 3 to 5 action steps for the next 60 days? What are the biggest action steps I can take that will accomplish the 6-month vision faster or put me on the right track? Okay, and you can do this later. And then you sell yourself on it. You got to sell yourself on why you're doing what you're doing, because if you have 1% doubt, you'll take it. So if you're in a company, but 1% doubt of you thinks that you might have a better opportunity or thinks that maybe you're not fully sold on it, you're going to take that doubt and people can see that. So you have to fully sell yourself. Okay. Huge, huge key. And then after that, for me, I started lowering who I followed, and I started only connecting with people who already had the results I wanted or already had similar values. So I also write down some of my values of what's most important, but they change based on where you're at in life. So if you don't have money, one of your values should be making money and securing financial freedom. Now it shifts, right? It'll shift later on. My values now are family, peace of mind, impact. So if something comes across my desk and it doesn't match all my values, I ask myself, is this going to contribute to my peace of mind or take it away? If it takes it away, it's not worth it, right? Now, it used to be, is this going to make me income or take away income? And I would say yes. But now you couldn't pay me $100 million to have someone else tell me what I'm worth or tell me when to show up, right? But that's just me. So you just got to know what motivates you, and you have to know how to spark your own fire. Next, once you start getting clarity, then you have to increase the most important account that you have as a human. It's not your bank account. It's your confidence account. Some of you guys have heard me talk about this, but are you executing this? Everybody has inside them what's called a confidence account. And based on every decision you make, you either are helping or hurting. So there's no in between here. The scary part of this is you're either helping or hurting your account with every single thing you do. Do you watch the news or do you read a good book? Do you hit your alarm? Or do you hit the snooze button, or do you wake up and work out? Do you eat that cheeseburger or the salad? Do you go out on Friday night and party and escape reality, or do you work on your goals, right? So every decision makes you. And for me, the biggest personal growth, the biggest confidence booster was just choosing the tough decision in the moment. There's some people that probably you can think of that need this call more than ever. But last minute, they wanted to relax, drink a beer. They wanted to watch Netflix. Their friend talked them out of it. They had something come up, and this could change the whole direction of their life. So one decision right there can make a massive difference. And there's something called the decision train that I think is one of the biggest keys to my early success, and now that I still follow every single day. It's most people make decisions based off how they feel, right? There's a train where it's like decisions, actions, feelings, feelings, actions, decisions. And Those who make decisions based on what they feel like don't do much, because most people you don't always feel like being successful. You don't always feel like working out. You don't always feel like getting on the phone, calling your team, running meetings. You don't always feel like doing the things that you should do to get the result. But this is where you have to start doing things that your future self will thank you for. So 95% of society right now is struggling. They're in a lot of fear. There's uncertainty. They don't know what they're going to do in the next couple months. And it's sad, but the reality is most of them base a lot off their mood and feelings. So the mood and feelings train will leave you stressed and discouraged, because if you don't feel like doing something, your action is not doing it, and you decide, I'm not going to do it. And how do you feel after? Horrible. Now, the successful people, the 5%, they flip that. The people right now that are thriving, that are going to thrive in the next 6 months, are the people that make decisions regardless. Okay, they make decisions first. So no matter what they feel like, they make a decision. So here's an example. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to work out. I know very well I probably won't feel like it, but I already make a decision. So when I wake up, it's irrelevant how I feel. Now, if you wake up and you're at a 0 to 10, here's a little tip. If you're at a 0 to 10, most people when they first, I don't know anybody on the planet that every day, every morning, they're always fired up in the morning. Maybe Justin, I have no idea. But I'm not fired up every morning. People think I am because I'm energetic, but some mornings I'm motivated, some I'm stressed, some I have anxiety, but it doesn't matter because I still do what I say I'm going to do. That doesn't affect me. So the reality is, get yourself from a 0 to a 2. So get out of bed, drink a water. Now you're a 1 or 2. Listen to your favorite song and maybe do 5 push-ups. Now you're a 3 or 4. Brush your teeth. Look at your goal list. Now you're maybe a 6 or 7. Now you might feel a little bit more like working out, but even if you don't feel like it, doesn't matter because your decision was to work out. Now you get in the car and start driving to the gym. What happens? It doesn't matter how you feel because you're already forcing yourself to have accountability. And when you get there and you get on the treadmill, you're like, well, I don't feel like it, but oh well. But check this out. How do you feel when you're finished? Amazing. So here's one of the keys to success in this new economy. Get addicted to the feeling of the completion of doing something you don't feel like doing. Get addicted to the feeling of doing something you don't feel like doing, and get addicted to the completion feeling. Like, I'm addicted to not feeling like working out, but then working out. If you want to increase self-belief, if you want to become more confident, just do that every day. Just start doing things you don't feel like. You'll feel like Superman or Superwoman in a week. Right? So that's the key to shifting your confidence, right? And the biggest confidence booster is shifting your circle of influence. We've already kind of talked about that, but that's literally under confidence is circle of influence. So I made a list, and I always had a list of my growth friends, like people that challenge me, people that held me to higher standards, my mentors. And then I had a maintenance list of people that maybe I knew back in the day. I knew them in high school. And I think society, once again, makes you feel bad for not hanging out with people that you knew like in high school. You're not hanging out with your high school friends? What? Right? And I commend people that still hang out with their high school friends and they're both crushing it. That's amazing, right? I wasn't fortunate to have that happen because I didn't want someone to drag me down so my family suffers because someone else has low standards. So all you do is you make a list of maintenance friends, growth friends, and you just lower the time you spend with your maintenance friends and you increase the time you spend with your growth friends. And that makes a pretty big difference, okay? And once again, you don't need to have the answer to what's next when you elevate your network because your network does. Life is way too short to hang out with people who don't make you feel exceptional or to hang out with toxic people. I know it sounds so simple and cliche, but still people don't understand the importance of cutting certain people out and getting around high-level people.
Hey, what's up? And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this video and this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, put the notifications on, and I assure you, you'll love this content in these videos.